Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblower channel. I'm pretty sure it's Friday. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a great time. It's high noon central. Womp, womp, womp. I can't do the other little part of that. I need to find that on the clip. I have to get Rocky on that to help me. I'm sure Desmond could tell me how to do that. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your happy contrarian, the Christian whistleblower, coming to you live from an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heartland, from the heartland into your hearts, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, and here we are, under the radar, but always over the top. And as Joe Sapien says, we already do have a circus here. We're about one elephant short of a circus. We're one elephant short of a circus here, ladies and gentlemen. Great stuff to talk about today. People want, Jeff, why are you trying to destroy all of our traditions? Well, because they're traditions. And traditions many times aren't founded on anything other than the fact that people have been doing it for a long time. And traditions can lead you away from truth. Traditions can lead you away from text. Traditions can lead you away from actual revelation. Many times tradition can block revelation. So, Jeff, you're just trying to break down all our traditions. Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Emma says, last night's show was so fun to listen to. Traditions can be bad habits, as Tracy says. And thanks to Kimmy Moss and Mike Moss for this nice coffee cup. Stop being so unsophisticated. Well, I'll be seeing them next week at LeetCon. Thanks so much for that. And tradition, it can be a rut, and a rut is nothing but a grave with both ends knocked out of it. So keep that in mind. Let's get into our subject today. We're going to talk about the red letters. Oh boy, Jeff, are you really going to go here? Are you really going to talk about the red letters? Everybody loves the red letters. The red letters, they've always been there. They're the words of Jesus. They're the most important. We love the red letters. We think the red letters are the best things ever. Well, let's look at the red letters. And after our little discussion, you may still love the red letters. After our little discussion, you may still want to adhere to the red letters. After our little discussion, you might still want to be amongst that group of Christian that calls himself red letter Christians. You might. And you know what? It's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here just to try to get you to think. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I am here to make sure there's not an LIE in the middle of what you believe. And if there is one, I'm going to point it out to you. I have a very, very tough job. Mark Twain said that it's easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled. I got the hard part. I'm here having to convince you that you've been fooled. And it is so funny when a fool will fight against their liberator and fight for their captor and actually oppose you trying to set them free. It's crazy. So I don't set people free. I don't even try to set people free. I put in the key. I turn the lock. I open the door. If you want to walk out, great. If not, that's your business. I'm not here to take you by the ear and pull you out of the cage. So the red letters. And I am Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, your happy contrarian. Let's talk about the red letters, ladies and gentlemen. Were the red letters created by the original writers of the Greek New Testament? I'll wait. You monitor that a little bit. I didn't mean to say monitoring. I meant for you to kind of ponder that a little bit. Were the red letters created by the original writers of the Greek New Testament? The answer is no. The red letters were not part of the original Greek New Testament. Now, I know I told you yesterday that plastic Jesus pierced his own veins with a pen, a quill pen, and wrote with that blood on the page himself. I was joking. That was a parody. I was being sarcastic. So the red letters, believe it or not, were not created. by the original writers of the Greek New Testament. Sorry. So then the next question would be, well, if the writers of the Greek New Testament didn't come up with it, who did? Well, there's a very interesting answer to that. It was your friendly neighborhood Roman Catholic Church. That's right. Your friendly neighborhood child abusing Roman Catholic Church. Your friendly neighborhood woman, prejudicing Roman Catholic Church. Your friendly neighborhood dead guy on a stick, Roman Catholic Church. They called it rubricate. To put red into the Bible was to rubricate it, and they wanted to rubricate all of the canonical versions, all of the canonical, what they call the canonical words, meaning the ones that they decided were the most important. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The red letters that you love so much were not part of the original Greek New Testament. The red letters that you love so much were the people that decided which letters would be read was your friendly neighborhood Roman Catholic Church. And in 1989, a German that had moved to the United States by the name of Louis Klopsch, he decided to print the first rubricated Bible. Somebody said that's supposed to be lubricated. Yeah, I know. I thought about going there. But he decided to print the first rubricated Bible. It was published in 1901. He was a publisher of magazines, and he thought, man, I can make some money off of this. Not saying he wasn't a nice guy, but he said, ooh, I can do this. And he said his motivation was Luke 22:20, which talks about the blood of the cup of the new covenant. So let me get this straight. The red letters were not written by the original Greek writers of the Greek New Testament. The people that first got the idea to do it was the Roman Catholic Church. And the guy that said he did it got his inspiration from the idea of the blood. Ladies and gentlemen, the red letters have probably done more to give you spiritual blood poisoning than anything else. Christianity is spiritual blood poisoning. The blood of sacrifice, the blood of sin offering, the blood of murderous, tortuous acts. Those letters are read for one reason, and the guy that made them read tells you that reason, because of the sacrificial human sacrifice, blood over intent, blood oath of Christianity. Wow. Let's take a look at Mr. Klopsch. Mr. Klopsch, the inventor of the rubricated or red letter edition, had zero theological training, but he didn't need theological training because he just did what the Catholic Church told him to do. And whenever you hear that someone was Catholic, you have to automatically ask the question, were they Jesuit? I couldn't find a way to hunt that down about Mr. Klopsch. But his idea was financially motivated, and it was quite successful. He became super rich selling the rubricated red letter edition Bible. He made tons of money, because it was a great idea. Would it be too much to say that it was blood money? Would it be too much to say it was blood money? And just to give you another little piece, he died in 1910, and his funeral was held in the New Masonic Hall, the headquarters of the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of New York. Any questions? The guy that made your red letter Bible The red letters didn't come from the Greek New Testament. He got the idea from the Catholic Church. He published it in 1901. His message, his motivation was the human sacrifice, blood covenant, blood oath, blood over intent. No theological training, got rich, had his funeral at the New Masonic Hall, the headquarters of the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of New York. And just to make it a little more creepy, you can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. You really can't make this stuff up. Just to make it a little more creepy, he was buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Headless Horseman. Yeah, that Sleepy Hollow. Ladies and gentlemen, that Sleepy Hollow. How interesting is that? How interesting is that? The red letters. Tracy and Cliff, before the show, were obviously remote viewing and looking at my notes because we've always assumed that the red letters have always been there. We've always assumed that the red letters were the most important ones. We've always assumed that spiritual people with our spiritual best interests in mind wrote those red letters. Don't you remember what happens when you assume? It's right there on the screen. When we assume, we make an ass of you and me. Ladies and gentlemen, the red letters were man's idea, not God's. And what about Revelation 22:18? If anyone adds to this book, God will add to him the plagues written in this book. Is adding red letters adding to the book? What do you think? What do you think? Folks, when the reality shows that the red letters were the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church decided which letters were going to be read. From all indications, a Freemason made the first red letter Bible and made lots of money on it. Was it blood money? You've always assumed they were important. These red letters have contributed more than anything else to your blood poisoning, your spiritual blood poisoning. Are you adding plagues to yourself? It's a black magic spell. If you partake in the adding to the book, are you also partaking in the plagues written in that book? But wait, there's more. One final note, ladies and gentlemen. One final note. The process of putting red letters into the Bible is called rubrication. Rubrication. And according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a rube is an unsophisticated, naive, or inexperienced person. A rube is an unsophisticated, naive, or inexperienced person. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love the red letters, if you follow the red letters, if you're committed to the red letters, you've been rubricated. And you are naive. You are inexperienced. And you are unsophisticated. But that's none of my business. You know what bibliolatry is? It's worshiping the Bible and the Bible itself over true divinity. Your blood poisoning is leading to your bibliolatry. Your blood poisoning is leading to your bibliolatry. One more time with feeling. The red letters were not part of the original Greek New Testament. The Catholic Church decided which letters were going to be read. The first red letter Bible was published in 1901. What happened before 1901? What happened before 1901? You thought this went all the way back to Paul and Silas. It didn't, dummies. Oh, it didn't, you unsophisticates. That almost sounds better than dummies. It goes back to 1901, you unsophisticates. The guy was, in all likelihood, a Freemason. How do you like that? Oh, we're all about the red letters just because Freemasons made them up. How hypocritical are you going to be for how long? I just want to know. Let me know so I can set a clock. Buried in Sleepy Hollow, headless horseman. You run around like a bunch of headless chickens doing what you're told to do. You've become an ass. You made one out of you. You have not made one out of me anymore. I've walked away. The red letters were not God's idea. The red letters were men's ideas. It may violate Revelation 22:18, and you've been rubricated, cousins. Unsophisticated, naive, inexperienced, bibliolaters, blood poisoned. Oh, I wasn't sharing any of this. My whole beautiful PowerPoint, and I didn't share it. Oh, man. Real quick, there it is, the red letters. Red letters not by the Greek New Testament. Catholic Church made them up. Louis Klops decided to print the first rubricated Bible. Says his motivation was Luke 22:20. No theological training, financially motivated, funeral in the headquarters, not just a lodge, but the headquarters lodge of New York, buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. That's what happens when we assume you can make an ass out of you, but you can't make one of me anymore because I've decided to unindoctrinate myself. Red letters weren't God's idea. It was man's. Does it violate Rev 22:18? You've been rubricated. That means you're unsophisticated. You're naive. You're inexperienced. You're a bibliolater, and you're suffering from blood poisoning. You can make an ass out of you, but you can't make an ass out of me anymore because I've decided to unindoctrinate myself. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Red letters, black letters, they're all Roman letters. Red letters, black letters, they're all King James and his merry men letters. Red letters, black letters, they're all deception letters. And if you, knowing that, can go on talking about red letters, then my work here is done. My work here is done. Later on today, we're going to talk about crucifixion implants. Later on today, we're going to revisit the Shroud of Turin again. And I'm not sure what else. What's today? Friday? Not sure what else. But be back. Somebody says the red letters are dung. Yes, they are. Jen says, damn, this is good. How about a quick run through the chat room? There's so many revisions of the Bible. It's frustrating when you're trying to study original scripture. Can I ask you why you're trying to study original scripture? Unless you're trying to find how the enemy is trying to fool you, reading the Bible is a waste of time anymore, ladies and gentlemen. And it might be dangerous. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Karen's throwing out the spellbound Bible. I'm good for you. I'm good for you. I'm good with that. Perhaps going back to the Greek is needed on some of those red letters. Well, anyway, let's see. The Old Testament is pure hogwash. Yep, man wrote it all. Let's see. So if you plagiarize in another color, you can get rich. Ooh, boom. I like that. I like that. Tickling Elmo ears, Christians. I like that. I like that. Looking forward to LeakCon. Me too. Rubes. Somebody talked about Rubik's Cube. Yeah, it's a puzzle. How about that? keep you from figuring it out. I'm my own guardian of divinity. Yes, indeed. It's all about how we perceive the red letters. No, it's really not. It's about thinking that the red letters are something special when they're not. It's thinking about how the red letters have some special power and they don't. Thinking about how the red letters are somehow holy when they're just as dung covered as the other letters. We see the proof. Let's deal with it in a responsible, a rational and way. Hunters drink the blood first or eat the heart, bite the heart of the things they kill. Ooh, that's interesting. We need an antidote for blood poisoning. We got the antidote for blood poisoning. It's right here. Come and get it. Free of charge. You mean they lied? Of course they did, Jen. You know they lied. You know they lied. You know they lied. All right, nice to be with you today. Be back with you more very, very soon. Remember, folks, don't buy the bogus red letter BS. It's stupid. It's just stupid. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. It's unsophisticated. Totally. It's a modern invention. It means nothing. The Roman Catholics thought it up. A Freemason did it. Come on, you're smarter than that. Move on. It's another part of the Christ virus. It's one of those little things you want to hold on to so you don't have to let go of that which is going to destroy your soul. Until next time, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, reminding you that you are the last generation of real humans. Get smart and get busy.